Christine, and you're watching Dante's
Boxing Nation.
Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So the truth finally comes out from George Kambosos. He reveals who he wants next, and it's not Devin Haney, it's not Gervonta Tank Davis, but it's Vasyl Lomachenko. Now, I don't want you guys to listen to this. I want you guys to pay attention to how George Kambosos' energy has completely changed, how he's so straightforward with saying that Lomachenko is next. Listen to this clip and I'll be right back.
It's a good fight. I think Lomachenko is going to be too much for him. He's out for vengeance. And, I'm looking forward to fighting Lomachenko next because, you can see what he's doing. He's taking the guys that Lopez fought, but obviously he's going to want these belts. Like I said, I'll give him the shot, him or Devin Haney or whoever makes sense. But maybe he'll want to get one back for Lopez without the belts, just to make a statement, then we can make that big fight.
Now, did you guys notice how George Kambosos, he made it sound as if he had completely already made up his mind? He mentions Devin Haney's name towards the end, and he says, and maybe others if it makes sense. But when he talks about Lomachenko, he says, I want him next. Now notice when George Kambosos was talking about a possible fight with Devin Haney, before Devin Haney beat Jojo Diaz, Devin Haney, he had to go through an audition. He had to qualify to fight George Kambosos, according to George. Remember, George was saying, well, the fight has to be in Australia. He has to perform a certain way. I have to get a certain amount of money. I have to be the A side. He said all of these things when it came to Devin Haney. But when it comes to Lomachenko, there is no audition. He didn't say anything about the fight having to happen in Australia. He didn't say anything about how Lomachenko has to perform. He says, I want to fight Lomachenko next. Aren't boxers all supposed to be created equal? Why no audition for Lomachenko? Why no stipulations for Lomachenko? These are all rhetorical questions. George Kambosos is pulling a Teofimo Lopez, and he may be better at the NBF game than even Teofimo Lopez was, and that's pretty damn scary. Now, George did mention Devin Haney's name. He said Devin Haney and others way towards the end. But the most important thing to pay attention to is, once again, he did not say that Loma has to qualify to fight me. You have an option to fight against Devin Haney for the undisputed title. Devin was willing to go to Kambosos' backyard in Australia. He was willing to give him the money that he wants. That's another thing, guys. There is no doubt about it. Kambosos will be taking a pay cut if he picks Lomachenko over Devin Haney. For a fact, he will make much more money against Devin Haney. But he's not the first person that's willing to take less money to fight someone who doesn't have a belt rather than fighting the actual champion. Once again, Teofimo did the exact same thing. Before Teo signed a contract to fight against Kambosos, Teofimo was offered $4 million to fight against Devin Haney. Do you guys know how much Bob Arum was going to pay Teofimo to fight George Kambosos? $1.5 million. Guys, wouldn't you think right there, you have two options on the table. Kambosos for $1.5 million or Devin Haney for another belt for undisputed. $4 million is on the table to fight Devin Haney. Wouldn't you think that if Teo truly believed in himself, he would have went after the biggest payday for undisputed against Devin Haney, right? Guys, this is exactly what George Kambosos is attempting to do right now. He's willing to fight Lomachenko for less money and no belt and no audition. The week of the Haney versus Diaz fight, Kambosos, he did plenty of interviews, and not one interview did Kambosos ever say, I am fighting against Devin Haney next.
Absolutely. And
of course, you've been everywhere this week. I think you're going to the fight on Sunday as well. But this fight, a really, really important fight for the lightweight division. You said off camera they're really looking forward to this fight. Devin Haney, you know, the young charge now of the division. Now Tio's taking a back seat. And of course, Diaz looking to become a multi-weight world champion as well. This is a real fight.
Yeah, look, it's a great fight. Not only that for me, it's a scouting mission and just having a look and seeing who's going to perform. But as a fight fan, I'm excited to be there, to watch them fight, and both very talented guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing who shows more. The big thing now is I'm in the driver's seat, so I want action. I want fight of the year candidates. That's what I'm looking for. I want to give the fans their money worth. I'm not here to touch and run around and play games. I'm here for action. So all these guys, they want the shot. They got to show me something. They got to really show me that, you know, we're going to fight, that it's going to be a battle.
Is that your message to Devin, that you want to see him in the pocket on Saturday night and put on a show? You know, you want to make, and you're right, you sit there now with a Devin Haney fight, or Jojo Diaz fight, and the Tank fight, and a Ryan Garcia fight, but you want the biggest fight in boxing, and you want that to be built, and I guess you'd like to do that in Australia as well, if it can be made.
Yeah, look, that's definitely the plan, to take it back home, because I've been on the road since 2017, and I haven't fought in Australia for such a long time, and that was always the plan. Do the hard yards, earn it the hard way, and when we got everything and we win the championship of the world, we'll come back and we'll fill out 80,000 people in the stadium.
Guys, I'm telling you right now, this whole MBF situation is getting out of hand. This is a complete injustice when it comes to the sport of boxing. There needs to be new laws and new rules implemented in the sport of boxing. You got Lomachenko, who vacated his belt to avoid his mandatory Devin Haney. And I'm going to keep saying this so people understand this. Lomachenko fought several mandatories before he avoided the mandatory Devin Haney. He fought several mandatories to defend his belt. It wasn't until Devin Haney came along that he just surrendered his belt. Now Kambosos is turning down more money and the undisputed title just to fight against a beltless Lomachenko. Even though the fight is not official now, George Kambosos has made it very clear that this is who he wants. Once again, before and after the Tank Davis fight, before and after the Devin Haney fight, George has never said he wants to fight Devin Haney. He wants to fight Gervonta Tank Davis next. He has only said right now, I want to fight Lomachenko next. And I'm telling you guys right now, if this fight happens, the winner of this fight, which will most likely be Lomachenko, he won't fight Devin Haney. So no matter who wins this fight, neither one of them wants to fight the boogeyman in the division, Devin Haney. So we have Oscar Valdez, who has been avoiding the Shakur Stevenson fight for like 2 years now. We have Jaime Munguia, who is the mandatory for Demetrius Andrade and Jamal Charlo's belt and refuses to take a title shot against one of them. And of course, we have the king of all of this, Canelo, who's been avoiding Demetrius Andrade and the Charlo brothers from 154 to 160. And now possibly 168, because Andrade will most likely move to 168, I've been told. But the difference from a Canelo and an Oscar Valdez is Canelo Alvarez, he won't even fight the best undefeated Mexican fighters. Because that's the one thing about Oscar Valdez. Oscar understands that the Mexican fighters in his division are easier fights. So he's willing to fight the Mexican fighters, but he just doesn't want to fight Shakur Stevenson. Because not only does he know that's a difficult fight, but he knows he will lose that fight. This is the reason why we really have to give fighters like Brandon Figueroa and David Benavidez a lot of credit, because they are willing to fight the best fighters, regardless if they're black, Mexican, or whatever. You know, it's almost as if George Kambosos, he said to himself, if I'm going to lose to any of these guys, it ain't going to be nobody on the coincidental list. It's going to be against Lomachenko. If this fight happens, if it becomes official, it's going to be very difficult for George Kambosos to justify him taking less money and fighting for no belts over fighting against the WBC champion, Devin Haney. When it came to Teofimo Lopez, that's all fans and old media talked about was the belts, the belts. He's undisputed. It was all about the belts when Tio had belts. But now when it comes to George Kambosos having an opportunity to fight to become undisputed, now we're going to hear a lot of old media and decafs in the comment section saying the belts don't matter or undisputed doesn't matter. Yeah, it definitely doesn't matter when you think you're going to lose in the fight. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. So to get this hookup, make sure you follow and contact my man Scalp Carolinas on Instagram. Contact them at 704-499-3471. And make sure you follow them on Instagram. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Diki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swell and inflammation and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodiki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.